who don't know what it's like living in the Philippines, I'm going to give you a brief analysis of what you're going to possibly encounter when you get here. And I will tell you a few true stories about what happened to me. It could be the same for you. It could be worse. And then next week I have a friend of mine coming over the house here. He could be here any day. His name is Superman. And he will confirm. We might do a story time for two of what he went through, which was very similar to me. He practically built a house for a woman that a few days after he left the Philippines, she was dating somebody else. And another fella, Dirty Bob, his name was. Well, let's go back to Superman. Superman dating one of three sisters. So we both lived at the same hotel in Cebu. So they were working him, and he was high up law enforcement in America, so he knew he was being worked. There was no doubt that he was getting worked over, but he had a good pension, and he was an easygoing guy, and so they were building. Well, Superman was building a house for the family. They would first they needed a door, and then they needed some structural stuff to build a room, and then they needed roofing materials. And each time we would go out for lunch, because we all went out to lunch together, my girl and his girl, they would ask him for, can you come to the building supply with, I'm going to go to the comments right now so I don't miss any comments. Hold on a minute. I don't have that page open. Let me get over that. So each time they would meet, we would meet, all of us would meet. My girl, his girl, those girls, his girlfriend, her sisters. Hey, Lewis. No. The answer is no. And I worked on it from just about every angle. I dumped everything out in my computer, restarted it, took all the cash out. I did everything possible. I changed the program itself. Well, I could talk to you about that maybe later, or if it's the holiday weekend. I hope you're having a nice barbecue somewhere. No, I never got that. I worked on it for about 2 hours, too. Maybe 2.5. Solid no, but 2 hours. I went online. I asked questions. Everything that we talked about was the solution, but the solution didn't work. So, but thanks for your assistance. Lewis and I spent probably close to 2 hours online trying to fix a glitch in the program of the computer that we just couldn't fix. But we'll talk later. So Bill, or Superman, had a girlfriend who had two sisters. So whenever we went out for lunch, because mostly I would only go out to lunch with the four of them, and it would be at the Ayala Mall. Anywhere there was a lot of really, really, really nice restaurants in the Ayala Mall, but they would always have a project that they were doing for their house, and he would acquiesce and buy them their construction materials. I even was with Superman. I have it on video. When he asked the girl to marry him, he asked me to come as a witness and to videotape it for him. I don't think... I guess I could ask him. He's going to be here in a couple of days. I could ask him if I could post that video. But either way, so he was getting played from the beginning. I knew that. I think he knew that, but he really loved that girl as much as you could love a girl after being with her for a month. So there are a million stories of men first coming to the Philippines. Now I'll tell you a story about Dirty Bob. We all lived in the same hotel. We all knew each other. We all had breakfast with each other. And Dirty Bob, he was, that girl, she was about 4 foot, literally 4 foot 5 inches tall. And she would walk into breakfast, and they lived together in the hotel, and she would do this thing where he would go, watch this, and he'd stand up, and she would crawl up his body over his head and then crawl down his back like a monkey. And it was like part of having the breakfast routine. It was, and she did this every day. So Bob and I, we were both from America. He had a fish pond that he grew his own fish in. That's just one of the things I remember about him. But he was in love with this girl. And this is, you guys that are coming to the Philippines for the first time, you got to understand, this stuff is real. You know, you meet a girl, your first Asian girlfriend, and you immediately fall in love with them because they're very caring women. So Bob had at the time I didn't know what an Apple computer was because I had an Asus. So Bob had an Apple phone and an Apple computer. And the phone was, even at that time, very expensive. I don't know how much. If I said a number, I'd be lying, but it was 30,000 pesos, $600 maybe in 2014. But the computer was closer to 1,000 or more. I don't remember the exact numbers. So the girl asked him for a phone, so he bought her an Apple phone. And I said to Bob, that's quite an expensive gift, considering when you leave, she's probably going to sell it, because that's what they do. They ask you to buy electronic equipment for them, and when you leave, they sell it, and that's cash money. So he goes, no, she loves me. She'll wait for me to come back. I'll be back in 6 months. Well, not so long after that, she wanted a computer, so he bought her an Apple computer for maybe $1,000. I don't know what it was. I don't remember what he paid for it, but it was a new Apple computer. And when you come here and you're in a big city and you go to the local mall where they sell cell phones and computers, the stores are mobbed with foreigners right off the boat, so to speak, and Filipinos waiting to buy their first real phone. Well, it's their first real phone with that man, not necessarily. And what they do is they'll pick out a phone for $200 or $300, and you buy it for them, and then when you leave, they'll sell it. That they do that. I mean, that's one of the ways that they support themselves. So Dirty Bob bought her a phone and a computer, and I'm still living in the hotel. He's going back to America. He left one day, and the next morning she was at the breakfast, having breakfast with another man who she dated. She didn't even wait one day. And she didn't even go to another hotel. She had options right there in that hotel. So somebody was, I don't know the man she dated, but somebody was making her offers. And Dirty Bob, they called him Dirty Bob in the restaurant because of the crazy stuff he would do. He would go to the red light district, and that's why they called him Dirty Bob. So that girl waited one day. Oh yeah, he also got her an apartment and paid for it for 6 months in advance, which I'm sure she got the money back for. But anyway, my first girlfriend that I went to the Philippines to meet. Now this is the interesting story. Let me shut this door. The light in the back might be blinding you guys. My first girlfriend, her name, I talked to her for a year and a half, 1.5 years online, 1.5 years before I met her in person. And we talked about once a week, and she never asked me for money ever online. But a couple of times I asked her how much money she was paying for the internet, and she told me whatever it was, could be $1 that she would spend on Skype, which was a complete lie, because we would only talk for about 10 or 12 minutes, so that would be like 10 pesos. So once a month, or once every few months, I'd send her more than enough money to talk on Skype, and for her birthday and Christmas, I sent her a gift. But now I talked to this girl for a year and a half, and now I'm going to be there on December 8th. I'm going to be there on December 8th. She knew that. I bought the ticket 6 months in advance. So like on December 1st, she said to me, well, I would like to buy a pair of shoes, nice shoes, and a dress, so that when I see you at the airport, I'm not embarrassed because I don't have any nice clothes. So I said, yeah, okay. How much? So she might have said $20. So I sent her 50. And she was very very thankful for the $50, whatever. So on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, we talked, and on the 6th, I'm getting on a plane. So I said to her, I won't be able to talk to you for a couple of days, and I'll be there at 2 o'clock on the 8th. So I got there in Cebu at 2 o'clock on the 8th, and she wasn't at the airport. Nor did she answer. I had a computer and I had internet at the airport. Nor did she answer the email. And they had lost my luggage. So I was waiting for them to tell me where the luggage went. I was on an Air France from Kennedy to Canada. And then from Canada to the Philippines, I think I was on Cebu Pacific or Philippines Airline. But they sent my luggage to France, I think it was. I think it was France. So now I'm in the airport. They don't know where my luggage is. I didn't find that out for a couple of days. So I'm waiting in the airport, and I kept sending her a message, no message. So finally, it was getting late. It was a big storm outside. I got a cab, and I went to the Costa Bella Hotel, which I would never recommend to anybody. It's $120 a night, and it's a dump. But that's besides the point. So this girl never shows up. Mila. Her name is Mila. So now we go to so I end up, the Costa Bella, I was supposed to get a room with a view. This is for the people that are coming to the Philippines for the first time. When you look online, don't ever rent a room online unless you know the hotel that you're going to. Because I was supposed to get a room with a view of the beach or the ocean from my balcony. That was the picture they took off the balcony. Well, I didn't even have a balcony. I had a window. And my window looked at an 18-foot high block wall with broken bottles on top of it. I have videos of this. And a roof with cardboard and bottles that people threw out the window and paper cups and stuff like that. But I paid $120 a night for it, that room. So they would not reduce the price of the room. And when you wanted to go online with your computer, you had to go to the lobby. It said internet available, but you had to go to the lobby. So in the lobby, you could go on the internet, but you could not search for another hotel at all. Those were restricted access on the internet. So let's say I wanted to call Mila up. I had a phone number and just call her up. The desk at the Costa Bella Hotel would give you a little phone, no screen, just a push button phone. And you would call Mila's number and you'd let it ring. And on the phone, it would track how many minutes you used. And they charged you $1 a minute. $1 a minute. Because you're fresh out of, not in my case, Florida, but I mean, that's not a lot of money for us from America, but for them it was 2 hours wages per minute. So I said, well, I don't want to stay here anymore. Yes, sir. You find another hotel. But I said, I can't access it on your computer site. No, sir, we have that blocked. So eventually, the next day, when I made a final decision to leave, I had to get in a cab, and it wasn't far from where I was, the EGI Hotel, where I made the video of the bird, the hornbill bird. They have a beautiful bird aviary in the back. So that place was really nice, on the water, with a view, with breakfast, for, I think could have been $50 a night, but it was a big, beautiful room, double bed. It was for us. It's a reasonable price. So, and I met a lot of cool people. I met Mr. Kenji there, a famous architect from Japan, and all of his entourage. He's traveled with about 8 people. So Mila never did show up, never called me back, never texted me back, never sent me a message back on the computer. So from the EGI, it was, by this time I had gone to Mobile and back. I had gone to Compostela and stayed there for a few days and came back. And I met, Mila never showed up, but this other girl, she was Muslim. Very nice girl. Talked for about 6 months, year and a half with Mila, and 6 months with the Muslim girl. So one day I said, you know what, I haven't talked to her in a while, because I told her I was going to meet Mila. Maybe she'll want to go out for dinner or something. So I called her and she said, yeah, I'll meet you at the Ayala Mall. So she had a job, so I had to wait till after work, and she worked in a camera company. She put lenses in cameras. Mila worked for a camera company too, but a different one. So I liked her. She was really nice. Hey, Michael, good morning. We got that all sorted out now with I put you in as an approved user, so you can, I think you could probably drop a link if you wanted to. So I don't even remember the girl's name. To be honest with you, I have no idea what her name is. So we went out for dinner in the ICM Mall, and it was my first barbecued chicken. It was delicious. And we got some 7-Up. That was a treat for her. She got 7-Up, and I got 7-Up. And then she said, I can be your tour guide. I said, what does that mean? I thought she was going to be my girlfriend. No, I will tour you around the city and bring you to the highlights of the city. I said, okay. So she brought me to the Buddhist temple. She brought me to the old town, the church in the old square. And she took me, the Carbon District, she took me around there, showed me that. She spoke the language. She showed me where the bus terminal was. So that was, I could only see her after work or on the weekend. So the next weekend, we planned to go to the Church of Simla. We had gone already to the Carbon Market in Old Square, and she was a really nice girl. There was nothing, there was no kissing. You couldn't even hug this girl because she told me she was Muslim, and it was tradition not to have any kind of contact with men. So that was okay because I was new to the Philippines and I wasn't going to get involved with the first girl that I met haphazardly. Mila, I had talked to for a year and a half. So anyway, we agreed to go to the Church of Simla. That's the video I just posted. So and it's huge. It's big. It's really big. It's bigger than any mall that you've ever been in because you could only see the front of the church. The church goes back 250 feet deep, plus it's 5 or 6 stories that you could see on top of the mountain, and then it goes down the back of the mountain, and then what you can't see is that they're extending it, literally extending it 1,000 feet left of the church that you see, and 1,000 feet right of the church. They had all the foundations in to expand it. So by the time it would be done, it would be 2,500 feet, almost a half a mile long on the top of that mountain ridge. So we agreed to go there. We got on a bus. It was only $1. No, we got in a van. For that, we went on a van. It was like $1 a piece. And she definitely saved me money because a cab ride would be much more. So we go to the church, and she tells me, don't buy any candles from the people. No need to buy candles. And I asked her for a kiss. She said, no kisses, no haluk. It's in the video. And then I said, okay. So I said, what if we get married? Oh, are you sure? Like she was, I said it kidding around. I don't really, I know you for a week. Are you sure? Yeah. No, I'm not sure. I don't want to marry you, but I didn't say that. So we go into the church, and there's the Church of Simla. It's a tourist trap. You walk in, and they're selling all the normal stuff in the little stands on the street that you walk to the church. And then at the church, there's, I don't know, several hundred people selling candles. And they're $1 a piece. You got to remember, these people only make $1 an hour. And they're selling candles for $1 a piece. So I wanted to buy some candles. No, you don't buy candles. So I think I bought one candle. She didn't want me to buy a candle. I don't know why. I have no idea why. But she didn't want it, but I bought one. So actually, I still have that candle over there somewhere on a shelf. So we go to the St. Peter room. There's a room for every saint. St. Thomas, Aquinas, St. Peter, St. Gabriel. Jesus had what a big room Jesus had. And Jesus, he was in a glass box. I remember that. I have a video of that. He was in a glass box. It wasn't a real person, but it was like a wax statue of Jesus. And then in each room, there was a place where you could donate money. And so that's how the church got the money to expand it. We're talking, there might be a couple of million pesos a day in donations. So we get to the last room, the big room, the famous room, is where Mama Mary lives. And all I ever heard was Mama Mary. We're going to go see Mama Mary. So we get Mama Mary statue, the Mama Mary. So we get to the part where Mama Mary, and it's a room. And now in St. Thomas Aquinas, there's 500 dolls, from a little doll like this to a 3-foot doll of St. Thomas Aquinas. Same thing for Peter, Gabriel, the apostles, Jesus. he was full size in almost every statue. But Mama Mary, we have to say Mama Mary for last. So it was a beautiful, beautiful dolls with lots of detail and ornate and pearls and gold trim, or with fake gold trim and frills and dresses, and Mama Mary crying, Mama Mary happy, Mama Mary over Jesus, Mama Mary with the lambs, Mama Mary. There's I bet you there's 1,000 Mama Mary statues. And the thing is, when you're in the church, you stand in front of each statue and you look at it. You could say hello, but I just looked at them. So we do this Mama Mary thing. It took an hour in just the Mama Mary room. So she goes, let's go sit down. So I said, okay, because I was ready to sit down. So I said to her, what about Haluk now? Off camera. No Haluk. But if we get married, I can give you the Haluk. So I said, well, I really don't know you that well. And she said to me, but my father, if you meet my father, this is true now. This is what she said. This is not the only girl that asked me for a large sum of money. If you meet my father, then we can get married if he gives you permission to marry me. So I'm interested because I don't know anything about the Philippines culture. But she was a Muslim, and she was Filipino, and she was Catholic. Her mother was Catholic, her father was a devout Muslim. So I said, well, what do I have to do to meet your father? So her father lived in Zamboanga, Mindanao, Zamboanga, which is a Muslim territory. I don't know anything about it. I never did go there. So I said, well, I was told by the embassy not to go to Zamboanga and certain parts of Mindanao. No, it's safe because my father is the chief of the tribe. And I said, well, we'll have to think about that. She goes, but if we go, you're going to have to bring with you 50,000 American dollars to ask for my hand in marriage. And then you give it to my father, and if he approves of the type of person that you are, she will, flying circus. DNC's human circus. Hold on a minute. If he approves of you as a person, he's going to take the $50,000. Then he will give you my hand in marriage, but also he will release my sister. So I'm like looking at her. Are the girls, DNC asks a question. Are the girls? Yes. When I first got to the Philippines, Mila wanted to marry me. This Muslim girl wanted to get married. I dated a couple of other girls that were one of the girls I dated. I have like 500,000 views on that video on Hoodwinked. Her mother came and said, I will let you marry my daughter. And that the daughter was a virgin, she said. I don't know if that's true or not, but but you have to marry my daughter before she will kiss you, or whatever. So I probably got proposed to from Mila, from the Muslim, from the girl who I just mentioned, from the girl from the Estaca Bay in Compostela, Estaca Bay Hotel. Those 4 women asked me straight out to marry them. And I had only been there about 1 month. So yeah, they they try to get married right away, or they try to get pregnant right away. I mean, well, not the Muslim girl and not the girl whose mother I met, but the other three girls, they wanted to get pregnant right away. I want a baby. And so they could get you one way or the other. They put you on the hook, but I didn't fall prey to that concept. So I'm in the Church of Simla, digressing back. Yes, they want to get married right away. Many, especially when you just come from America. First thing they talk. Well, Bill, my friend Bill, who's coming next week, Superman, he'll tell you. He got engaged. He was only with the girl living in the hotel with me. Couldn't have been a month, and he bought her an engagement ring, and I videotaped it. Dirty Bob, he bought the girl a cell phone and a computer as a wedding present, and he was with her a month. Say, ah. That's funny. Thanks for the laugh, DNC. So we're sitting down in the back. It's hard to explain, but we're all by ourselves. And I said, what do you mean for 50,000? He will release your sister. Hey, John Blaze. John Blaze will tell you. Hey, good afternoon, John. Hey, happy Memorial Day weekend to DNC, John and Scott. I think you're all veterans. Happy Memorial Day. I forgot about that because we don't celebrate that here. Thanks for stopping by, John. So when she said that if you give my dad $50,000, he will release my sister from bondage. So you're welcome, DNC. So what had happened was, okay, so her father was the head Muslim of the tribe, and he had 3 wives at that time. And my girl's mother, the girl I was with at the Church of Simla's mother, was Christian. And that was okay for him. But she was allowed to bring the 2 daughters up as Christian/Muslim. So, but at some point, they had to go full Muslim, whatever that means. They had to make a commitment to Allah. I don't remember all the details. So this girl that I was with, when she was 16 or 17 years old, she ran away. She was literally on the run. That's what she said. I don't know if it's true. So at the time that I met her, she was about 19 or 20. So she said, my sister is still with my mother, and my father knows that I won't come back unless I bring back $50,000, get married, and he gets the $50,000, then he'll release my sister, and then my sister can come and live with us, me and her, whatever her name is, I forget. And then she can leave Zamboanga. And I'm going to myself, wow, this is like something for the books. This is a good story. And so that was the story. That's the truth. If I was to agree to put I had to bring that 50,000 to her dad in a suitcase. I had to bring it in cash. I don't know how I would have moved that much cash around in the Philippines, and then bring it to Zamboanga, to the mountains where they lived. They didn't live in Zamboanga City. I give them the money. He releases the bondage of the sister, and I get to marry the girl. But I took a hard pass on that. No, thank you. But I did see her more than that. She remained my tour guide. She never really asked me for anything except $50,000, and because she had her own job and she was very independent. She got to the hotel on her own. She left on her own, and she you can get a maybe an she was very independent. Well, no, Mike Dowdy, 2-for-1 sale. LOL. I wouldn't feel safe carrying 50,000 pesos in that neck of the woods. Well, I did mention to her that the embassy said there were certain parts of the Philippines that I'm not supposed to go to, but at the time, I would not have remembered Zamboanga was one of them. Later on, I read the rules, and they said Zamboanga City was safe during the day, but not at night. Surrounding areas, you could get kidnapped. But she assured me, this is the thing, she assured me that because her father was the head of the tribe, I would not get kidnapped. And I said, but if I do get kidnapped, what will you do? She goes, well, I will get my father to release you. So they would have my money. They would want more money. The long and the short of it is she remained my tour guide for the 75 days that I was in Cebu. She was my tour guide for about 55 of those days. And at night, we saw each other a few times a week at night, on both days on the weekends. I didn't get to meet Mila until, the girl I went to the Philippines for. Now I was there from December 8th. I didn't get to meet Mila until February 14th. And that day, at that time, the Muslim girl and I don't remember. I really don't remember if we were together, if we weren't together, but Mila was a breakfast date. When you first get to the Philippines, you have a breakfast date, a lunch date, and a dinner date. Believe me when I tell you. When you're staying at the Golden Prince Hotel, it's the center of the city, 2 blocks from the Ayala Mall, right near the IT Park. It's right dead center. But I'm going to tell you how not to fall prey to certain things in a minute. So anyway, I dated her until I left. Not dated her. She was my tour guide until I literally left Cebu. And then Mila also was my tour guide as well. 'Cause Mila, she wouldn't even kiss. There was no way. I knew Mila for 2 years. 2 years. 2 years. And when I moved here to Bohol, I had seen her several times. She would never even kiss. But that was okay. She was a cool girl to hang out with. And that wasn't my intention with Mila. I had no love for Mila at all. None. But she was fun. She spoke good English, and she knew the places to go and the best deals for dinner and foods. And she didn't ask for anything either. She just didn't show up for our first date. But you got to be careful when you come here. They all want to get married. Now, what they will ask you for is a cell phone for maybe $100 or $200 or $300. All of them ask you for a cell phone. All of them. Everyone. Every girl you ever meet will tell you their cell phone broke. It fell in the water. They gave it to their sister. Their sister had a hardship. So they all want you to give them or buy them a cell phone. And when you get to the Ayala Mall, look. Like I was there for Christmas, remember? I told you I got there Christmas, New Year's, and the Sinulog Festival. All I spent in Cebu City. The malls was packed. It was like the 4th of July at Coney Island. So the internet stores, there was only a few on in the internet area upstairs. The lines were out the doors. You don't have. Oh, okay. Freebird. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Freebird. Freebird with the knowledge. Let's see. You don't have to go to there to get asked for. Well, I guess in today's world, but you got to remember something, Freebird. I was from America, and we all had the ability to buy our own phone, and this is 2013. Actually, it was because the December of 2013. And I didn't know much about cell phones. I just had a cell phone that I bought with my program. No girl, the girls I dated, they all had their own cell phone. I didn't know it was a business. So that was something new to me. And outside the cell phone stores were, foreigners buying the girls' phones. And what they would do is they would get the phone and you'd put a SIM card in it. And then when you left 2 weeks later or a month later, they would somehow sell the phone if they could return it, because they would put the warranty under there. I don't think they could return it. Right, I didn't know much about my cell phone had a walkie-talkie in it. You could talk to Alaska. I forgot the cell that I was on, the program I was on, because I did business with truck drivers and sand delivery services and equipment, other equipment companies. We had that Textel, I think it was. I forgot, Nextel. But I didn't know anything about cell phones. But after a few weeks, you get the hang of it. They want you to buy them a cell phone, and if they could return it, they'll return it. If not, they'll sell it for half price. It's still profit, right? But no girl in the Philippines ever had a cell phone that I met. They had a $10 cell phone. They all wanted $100 or $200. It's a business. And the girls in the store, when they see an American or a foreigner walk into the store with a girl, they're going to, oh yeah, this phone would be perfect for you. They're all in on you spending as much money as possible, even knowing that the girl was there 3 times this month with 3 other guys. You guys got to get used to this stuff when you come to the Philippines. It's just one scamdel after another. It doesn't stop with cell phones. It's construction materials for their father's house. It's money for their dog that got hit by a car. Their brother's in the hospital with kidney stones. It's just one false statement after another. When you get it, you got to get used to that. And they're such sweet girls. You want to believe them, but I wanted to believe them. I'm going, wow, man. So moving to my net. So that girl, the Muslim girl, and I dated for a long time, but not dated. She was my tour guide. But there were many other women that I met, because as soon as you get to the Philippines, you're going to get it. When you change your location, I'm in Cebu. Oh, you might not get a lot of messages when you're in America, but when you say I'm in Cebu, would you like to get together? They'll say yes right away. Yes, right away. So that was $50,000 she asked me for. Mila did not ask me for anything at all, ever. $50. Oh, and the $50 that I gave Mila to meet me at the airport with a new dress and a new pair of shoes, she went to Dumaguete to her cousin's wedding. And she told me that February 14th or February 13th. Yeah. Hi, Michael, how are you? 2 months and a week. She didn't show up, and then she calls me texts me, "Hi, Michael, how are you? This is Mila." So I had Valentine's Day breakfast with Mila, and then we saw each other a few times, but no kissing, no hugging, no physical contact. She wouldn't even hold my hand, which was okay. I didn't care. There was so much other stuff going on there. So, in between the Muslim girl and Mila, I met another girl from Estaca Bay. So I get to Estaca Bay Hotel, and she had a job also working in a camcorder place, putting lenses in camcorders. A lot of them work building cell phones and cameras and then answering phones. I never went out with a phone operator, but I went out with 3 girls that worked in. All 3 girls I dated had jobs. So this girl, I have the video of her up. She came after work. She was very pretty, very pretty. But one of the things I asked the women is, "Do you have any children?" Mila did not. The other girl did not. And this girl said, "No, I don't have any children." So I said, "Okay, I'll date you. I don't date women with children anymore. I gave that up back in the 90s. So I go to the Estaca Bay. It was in Compostela, I think, if I remember correctly. Compostela, Cebu, about an hour outside the city. And we sit down, I'm talking to her for dinner. Yeah, the virgin. Well, the Muslim girl, she said she was a virgin. And Mila, I believed, was a virgin. So, but the Muslim girl never said she had children. And Mila, I doubt that very much. I talked to her sister. Her sister said, "Mila's a good girl, Michael. And if you want to marry a good Filipina, Mila is a good Filipina." And I dated her for 2 years. Took her out, took her to dinner, went around, even met her in Bohol a couple of times. She was a good girl. So I didn't want to marry her, though. But I said to myself, she's 27 years old. If she's still a virgin, there's got to be something else wrong somewhere. So I'm at the Estaca Bay Hotel with this girl. I'm having appetizers came, and we're talking. And she goes to me, "By the way, will you give me," I'm talking to her about, we're talking about superficial stuff. "By the way, will you give me 60,000 pesos, 600,000 pesos? So I kept talking. And she's going, "Will you give it to me?" So I look around like this. Are you talking to me? She said, "Yes. I'm talking to you." So why would I give you 600,000 pesos? She said, "My father wishes to build an extension on the house." And I said to her, "And you're asking me for 600,000 pesos? Yes. Will you give it to me?" She demanded an answer. I said, "No." "Why not?" I said, "Well, I know you in person for about 7 minutes. I don't even know your family. Tomorrow we'll go meet my family." So I said, "Okay." So we had dinner. We went down to the water. The Estaca Bay Hotel was probably in the 60s or 70s, was probably a beautiful resort. But remember that Hurricane Yolanda had just come through in 2013 and destroyed it. The pool was still intact, but the building and the seawall, it was all falling down. I have the video up on my channel. I don't remember the name of the video. So she stayed. I told her to go home because she only lived a half a mile away. She She goes, no, I would like to stay in the aircon. I said, okay. So there was 2 beds in the room. She slept on one bed. I slept on the other bed. And the next day we got up, we had breakfast, and we go to her house. Now, she had told me her father polished shells when we had met online. I said, what does your father do? He polishes shells. Well, when I got to the Philippines and I stayed at the EGI Hotel, that's right on the ocean. And I would walk along the shoreline, and I found these shells about this big, queen conch shells, 14 inches long, and abalonian shells about 10 inches in diameter. And they would, the animals, the flesh part of the shell was gone, but the shells were just laying in the sand. And I said, well, they're pretty cool. I'll keep those. So I brought them to I stayed at the EGI Hotel for about 5, 6, 7 days, like that. So I just put them out on the windowsill, and they dried out. They didn't smell because they had been in the ocean for a long time. And then I said, I had them in my suitcase when I met her, but not for her father. I just had them in my suitcase. And she said, my father polishes shells for a living. And I says, oh yeah, that's right, you mentioned that. I have some shells for him. So we went to the house. We went to her father's house. Yes, I dated, well, Freebird, I don't know where you live, but I don't want to know where you live, but when you got to get, I'm trying to make people understand, you got to get used to, when you come to the Philippines, they will ask you for the world. And now maybe that Muslim girl, for $50,000, maybe she would have made a great wife. I don't know, but I wouldn't, you know, I'm not going to do that. But maybe Mila would have made a great wife, but she didn't interest me to be a girlfriend. She just, you got to have some kind of chemistry if you want to get married. And that only happens a few times. But they asked me for the second girl that I'm talking about at the Estaca Bay. We went to her father's house. You had to take a tricycle to the base of the mountain, and then you had to take a motorcycle up to the top of the mountain. Tricycles would not get there. So she told me she had no children. Her mother and father wanted to meet me. She was a nice enough girl. She had a job. She had beautiful clothes. She even had jewelry, some light-duty gold jewelry. We get up to the top of the mountain. The place stinks really bad. It's raw sewage. The whole of the mountain, the sewage just comes out from the house, and wherever it goes. I mean, it could be, most of it went down the path that the motorcycle went up. Just they cut a trough in the path on the side, and the water just flowed down the mountain like a little stream. It's in my video. Or just puddled. And when you walk through water, you're walking through septic water. So we get to the house. I gave the father the shells. Oh, God, was he was like, he was as if I gave him money. And he showed me some of the stuff that he did. This guy was a real artist. He didn't just polish shells. He made jewelry out of them. He made bracelets out of them. He made necklaces. He made nameplates that go around your neck. He was a professional polisher, creator, a very creative man. So he was very thankful. And there were 8 people in the house. If I remember correctly, it was the mother and the father, 5 children, and a baby. So, and they all lived in one room. All over around the room, there were mattresses in the room. There wasn't like a separate room for the mother and father. They all lived in one room. And when I went into the room, they cleared out, there was a little table there, and they cleared out a spot for me to sit down. And we had brought up some snacks and soda and stuff for the family. And when I sat down, a baby came out from the crowd. We call it the crowd. And the baby was about 2 years old. And the baby grabbed the girl's leg and said, "Mama," something like that. Mama, but maybe in Visaya. So I said to her, is that your child? And she said yes. And I said hello to the baby, and I gave her a high five, and she gave me a high five back, and she was smiling. She's a very cute baby, a little girl. And I said, "But didn't I ask you if you had any children?" "Yes." I said, "But you said you had no children." "I don't. She lives with my mother." Now the mother lives in that big room with the family. But there was another little room where the mother lived. The whole family lived in the big room, but there was another little room that looked like a closet. And the mother lived in that little closet with the baby, but not the father. The father slept in the main room. So she says, the baby, I don't have any children. The baby lives with my mother. She couldn't wrap her head around that it was her baby, but being that the baby didn't live with her, it wasn't her baby. That's not the first time that happened. It happened twice after that. DNC. Yes, he wasn't too bright. He makes a living out of polishing shells, but lives on the top of a mountain. Well, yes, you know what? You're right about that. But when you see the video, I have videos that are public and videos that are not public. When he was the king of the mountain, DNC, because think about what I said. Everybody's affluent went down the mountain. He was at the top of the mountain. His went down the mountain, and there wasn't any for him to walk in further up the mountain. He was the king of the mountain. He was the highest in the pecking order in that mountain village. He was the king because he was at the top of the mountain, and no sewerage flowed through his property. He was the top, but his view was magnificent of Cebu City. So thinking about it from not being so bright, he lived far from the ocean, which would be impossible to live on the ocean there anyway, because those were rich people that lived on the ocean. The affluence, we're talking about every house had a trough from the house to the sidewalk or to the path, and all of that water added up, and at the bottom of the mountain it was a slow flow, but it was flowing, and at the top of the mountain it just streamed down. But in front of his house, he was first. And I figured all of that out on the way up the mountain, going, this is crazy. And when we got to the top of the mountain, I said to myself, this guy's the king of the mountain. Because you got to remember, what I did for a living in the Florida Keys was I was a septic tank. I was an excavation contractor, but I installed septic tanks. So I knew all about effluents and the way that, stuff runs downhill. It always does. Not going to change. That's been the same since the beginning of history. So he really did have a great location. And you said, I see, you said, you see. And that's true. So the girl, digressing back, the girl said, no, I don't have any children. She lives with my mother. be that as it may. I gave the man the shells. It was he took me outside and showed me stuff that belonged in a museum, the stuff he made in the back of the house. And I wished I could have gave him more. Had I known, I would have collected a freaking box of shells for him. I almost did go back there with more shells, but I had moved to Bohol by that time. So we went back to the hotel, and I had one more night that I stayed there. She stayed in the aircon room. She said, "Can I stay here in the hotel?" And I said, "Sure." So she did. She slept on her own bed, and that was it. When I left the next day, she goes, "Am I going to see you again?" I said, "No, I don't want to date anybody with children," and that's my rule. Maybe I want to have children one day, but I don't want to live. I don't want to meet a woman with a child. I don't want that responsibility. I did that once or twice in America, and all of a sudden, their children are your responsibility, but the children's father's family is also now part of your inner circle. So now you're not only with the girl's family, but you're with the children's at parties, aunts and uncles, their family. The father might be there. It causes all kinds of problems that nothing physical ever, but who needs that? There's enough women without children. I tried it once or twice. I didn't like it, and I don't do it anymore. And here in the Philippines, that would just be another family by extension that you'd have to take care of. Buying them, as DNC takes care of some people in the Philippines by buying them farm animals. Now all of a sudden, and I bought farm animals for Daisy's family. When it was her mother's birthday, I said, "What do you want to get your mother for her birthday?" And her birthday was around Christmas time. She goes, "Can we get my mother and father piglets?" I said, "Sure, if that's what they want." And then they grew those pigs up and had babies, and they made money. So I said, "Well," she goes, "Well, we'll just buy one." I'm going, "Well, we'll buy a boy and a girl. Will you do?" And she was like, this is when I first met her. I said, "Sure, I'll buy you." If they want pigs, I'll buy them pigs. I'd rather buy them pigs than a shirt. So that's just normal. What DNC said that he buys some people in the Philippines goats last week, or that's what he'll give them as gifts to help them out. I never bought a goat. I bought pigs, though, for Daisy's family, and I bought one pig for another family, but they ate that pig. But it was for barbecue. So, Louis Pagan Punch, the extension the father wanted to build with 500,000 pesos was actually, oh yeah, well, no, Louis. The 50,000 US dollars, that was for the girl in Zamboanga. The girl in Cebu, in Compostela, they wanted 600,000 pesos, which was about 17,600. You know what? Let's see, 600,000 pesos. Oh, I just got a really cool message. So, the 600,000 pesos at the time in 2014, pesos were 39, let's just say 40 pesos to the dollar. So you might be right about that. You might be right about that. 600,000 pesos times Yeah, that was $500,000. 600,000 pesos. No, 600,000 divided by 40. How many pesos? Lewis, you could do that. I need to answer somebody on the thing. Just give me a moment. Um, 600,000. So let me go back. 600,000 pesos. $12,000, right? At the time, I thought it was 15,000. Okay. So that's what she wanted. That was for the extension. Thank you, Lois. On the house. And that would have probably built. There was plenty of room on top of the mountain. He had a big area up there. I have that video on my show. I could probably look for it. I wonder what it would be under Estaca Bay Hotel. Estaca Bay Hotel. Let's see. Let's just go through hotel. It's a really cool video for those of you who want to watch it. Oh, Typhoon, Christmas, Herald Square, Bohol Typhoon. No, it's not under hotel. I'll have to look for it. Compostela. I don't know what it's under. But, yeah, the father had a beautiful view. And, yeah, he probably could have used that money for a hotel. He probably would have did that. I see, says DNC Human Circus. Scott Del Fuego, NM, whatever that means. Never an upside raising other men's children, says Lewis. Yeah? You know what? If I was rich, like Michael Jackson or Michael Jordan or Sylvester Stallone, I would not be anything like those people. I would literally adopt 50 children. I always wanted to do that if I ever became rich. I would adopt 50 children, put them on some sort of a farm with special education with how to do work with soil or carpentry or flying planes or heavy equipment. I always thought that would be really cool if I was rich. Like Brad Pitt and Angela Jolie, they adopted several children and they brought them up as their children. That's pretty cool. But you got to have a lot of money, and you got to. That was always something that I would do. Even if I'm never going to be rich like that now, but I would think of doing it. But with the limited income, or a set income, to take on somebody else's children, which would eventually be a burden if you had your own children, then you're taking away from your possible children in the future. And that's not what I wanted to do. Plus, I had only been in the Philippines a short period of time at that time, less than 3 months. All of this happened. I was in Cebu for about 75 days, and I had been inundated with dating, the good, the bad, but no uglies. that was that. But I had dated a lot of women, and that one had children. A few in Bohol said they didn't have children, but they had children. And they used the same excuse. One in Ubay, she said she didn't have children. She had 2 children. I said, but you have 2 children. She goes, no, they live with my mother. I said, where does your mother live? She said, my mother lives over there. Well, it would be over there, and in a room. And I said, where do you live? She goes, I live over there in that room. they really justify they don't have children because they say the children lives with the mother in that room, but they live over there, which is probably not the truth. That was one. And the other girl I dated for a year from the ICM mall, she still works there. She's the girl that you'll see me swimming with out in the deep water, out on the floating dock, out with the barges. We swam out here and then all the way to the Bellevue. We brought food. We would stop and go on somebody's boat. There was another floating dock about a quarter of a mile. We'd go on the boat, have our food, throw the scraps to the fish, sunbathe, hang out, and then come back. She had 2 children. I dated her for 10 months. She never told me. She would come here to the Stanley house where I lived, and come Christmas, she said, will you give me 20,000 pesos? I said, well, I mean, I'll give you a Christmas present. She said, no, it's not for me. It's for my children. I want to buy them a cell phone. I'm going, so wait a minute. You have children? She goes, yes, 2 children. And the cell phones are 10,000 each. She wasn't embarrassed about it. We went out with each other for 10 months, and I'm going, well, I don't know. Can we get them a little bit less expensive phones? I mean, they were like, 7 and 8 years old or 9 years old. No, they picked out the phone they want. So basically, she was just asking me for 20,000 pesos. So that didn't happen. We didn't break up because of it, but that just didn't happen. Eventually, we did break up, but not because of the kids, just because we lost interest in each other. But yeah, they wanted, they'll ask you for, but I lived at another place next to the Blue Water Hotel, and the woman that was married to the man who owned the property, she asked me for 10,000 pesos also. She came over late at night all dressed up with cologne and high heels, and I'm going, what's up? She goes, I came over to hang out. And okay, I thought we were just going to hang out on the balcony, which is what we did. She goes, no, she's going, my children wants a cell phone, and maybe we could work something out. And I looked at her and I'm going, you're married to my landlord, that guy, and I mentioned his name. She goes, yeah, but he's sleeping. I said, no, we're not gonna work anything out. She was pissed off because now she was a woman scorned. Why would I pay 10,000 pesos for, at the time I was dating the swimmer girl 2 or 3 times a week? Why would I pay 10,000 pesos? For what reason? First of all, I don't understand why men would pay for that, and especially here in the Philippines. Take them out for dinner, maybe buy their family some groceries, but cash, no, that's not going to happen. So, but they'll ask you for it. Now Daisy, which is one of the reasons I refuse to let anybody say anything bad about Daisy. She never asked me for anything, ever. Not one time did she ever ask me for anything. So you people that talk bad about Daisy, you have no right to do it, but there's no reason behind it either. You never heard me talk bad about her, and I never will. And even if I did have a girlfriend, not Daisy, but another girl that I have an argument with, you'll never hear me say anything about it. It's just not the way I'm programmed. I always say that our relationship, we drifted apart. I don't get involved with all that personal stuff. Because first of all, it's none of your business. And second of all, why would I want to say something negative about a woman that can't defend herself right in front of me right now? If you start talking bad about a woman on YouTube, in a live stream, or in a video, and how do you justify that? she's not there to defend herself, number one, but no one knows if you're telling the truth. It's just not a proper thing to do. But none of the girls I ever broke up with here in the Philippines, I can honestly say I don't remember ever having a bad argument and we broke up. You just drift apart. They want something that you can't provide them with. Children, before marriage, money for the family, whatever. A girl meets you and they want to have a baby like that day. They want to start having babies because, no, thank you. That's not going to happen. I would like to know somebody before I did that. But you'll never hear me say it. I don't think I've ever said anything bad about a woman. Can't offhand. The worst thing I could say about a woman here in the Philippines is that they'll ask you, no one ever stole anything from me. No one ever, they'll ask you for a phone. Is that a scam? You buy them a phone, you buy them a phone. DNC, we have knowledge here. Goats are great land clearers. Yes, goats are a commodity here. The goat man has 12 goats. He makes a living. That's all he does. He walks his goats to the beach. He hangs out with the goats on the beach all day. And at 5 o'clock, he comes home with the goats. The goat lady walks to a different part of the beach. Sometimes their goats meet. That's how they make baby goats. And then all of a sudden, they got more goats. Goats is a good business in the Philippines. DNC says 600,000 pesos is $12,000. Okay. Money in the bank. Well, am I ever coming back to the States? I don't think so. I have no, at this time, no, probably not. I guess anything is possible, but probably I would not. I have nothing to go back to in the States. Well, I have my brother, but I'd like to see him again, but maybe for that I would go back to the States. But we just saw each other a couple of years ago. We're good. I talked to him this morning for an hour. We're good. And everything is good as it can be. And I to travel back and forth to America, money in the bank. Maybe you have enough money in the bank to piss it away on a trip back and forth to America. But you want to take a guess at what it would cost to go to America for, say, 3 weeks or a month? Why don't you throw a number up on the screen? And then tell me if you could afford that. Because I could afford it, but I wouldn't spend it for that. I'd much rather spend it on something for myself. And to spend the kind of money that it cost me to go back and forth, I don't think I would invest that much money going back and forth. Right now, I have no intentions of doing that. But why don't you throw a number up on the screen? Scott Del Fuego, FAZIO and preaching the truth. Thanks, Scott. DNC says you should have slept with her and handed her 2 cans and a string. Here's your... No, that woman I dated for 10 months. But no, that relationship just drifted off because when I wouldn't give her the money for Christmas, I would be happy to give her some money for Christmas, but I never even met her children. I don't even know that she had children. I never saw them. But she was asking me for 10,000 pesos, and I don't normally give people money. DNC's Human Circus says, going back to America could easily cost $10,000. So yeah, I was thinking more along the lines between 6 and 7,000, but that's if you have a place to live when you get there. Now I have a house there that I could live in, so that would save me the price of a hotel. But figure $3,000 for airfare. I don't know if you're going to figure your time to go to Cebu and get your clearance. You need to get an NBI clearance. It's only $4 for that, but you need now. See, you don't have to go now. You don't have to go to Cebu to get a clearance paperwork, but that costs. I don't know what it costs. For me, a motion of consideration to leave the Philippines. I don't know how much that was. $100, let's say. So, but now you have the airfare. Now you're going to pay rent here where I am, so that's another, say, $500 altogether for rent, electric, and stuff like that. So that's $3,500. You're going to have expenses for a month. In America, a bagel costs $6 in the mall. A White Castle hamburger is $2, a cheeseburger. A good restaurant could cost you $150 for a dinner. Pizza is $30 for a pie. So you're going to spend, I don't know, you know how much money you're going to spend on food. All right, money in the bank. I know you're trolling me, so I'll just let that be your last question. So we're done. You and I are done, money. And I know who you are. I know whose channel you hang out on, and I know you're trolling me. I knew that was a troll question from the get-go, and there you go, getting into my personal business. So goodbye, money in the bank. Don't block them, but don't ask me any more questions. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly whose channel you hang out with, and I'm pretty sure I know who you are. So you're trolling, so I'm being permy, money in the bank. I don't have to answer your question. I will bet big money right now that I'll go to your channel. You won't have any videos. You won't have any content. And you have no favorite channels. So let's go see. Let's go see that fraud. Let's go see if that's real or not. But I know exactly who you are from how you've asked this question, but whose channel you were on just yesterday. Let's go right here. Go to the channel. I say you have nothing on your channel. Pep, was I right? You're a troll, dude. Money in the bank. 64 subscribers, no videos, no playlists. Oh, what? We have playlists. Let's see what you got. Soccer, Zambia. Yeah, you're just a troll, dude. And let's see if you have my channel as a favorite channel. You have my, let's see who you are. Yeah, I don't know any of these people who's your friends with. So you didn't get to the part where you're trolling me yet, and you're not going to get that far. But I know who you like to associate with. I don't owe you anything, nothing at all. So that was your last response. But thanks for stopping by. Let's go back here. So, I even saw you on the channel yesterday when somebody from probably Key Largo said, tell Fazio his ex-girlfriend, Crazy Karen, died last week. Karen was a nice lady. Karen, she was crazy. That's why they called her Crazy Karen. She had a full dress, a Harley. She had a beautiful Mustang GT, I think it was, 500, 1990, that she kept up really nice. She had her own business. She had her own shop. But I know who you are, money in the bank. You're a troll, dude. Okay, now, let's go back over to the thing. Returning to the States could cost $10,000. 6 or 7,000 easy. So, and you know how I know that money in the bank is a troll? Because he heard me say I could go back to my house in America, and then he knows that I have a brother in America, and he wants to ask me if I could stay with my brother. So the answer was self-explanatory from what I said, but he has to hear it. Why? Are you going to get in touch with my brother for some reason? You want me to call him up right now? Put $100 in Super Chat, and we'll talk on the phone, my brother and I, in this conversation. No. Okay, so you're not a troll. Okay, you're not a troll. But you sure hang out on some weird channels, dude. So, Aloe de Winter. Hey, Aloe. Aloe. Let me ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Aloe is in the house. Aloe is in the house. Aloe de Winter is in. You know, money in the bank. This is how I define trolls. I define a troll with somebody that doesn't have any content on his page, doesn't have his personal information on the page, nothing that he's ever done in real life, like your job description. You rebuilt a motorcycle engine, maybe you rebuilt a car, maybe you painted a car, maybe you put a door in your house. You don't have to have your face in the video, but a troll is somebody that doesn't have any content on his channel. So we're gonna give money in the bank. We're gonna make a song up just for the newest troll on my channel. He's got no content, money in the bank. He's got no content, money in the bank. If he had some content on his channel, I would have answered his question ASAP. So that's how I define trolls. That's how it rolls. I study the narcissist. You say a lot of bad things about me. I study the narcissist. Why, I don't know. You are a troll. I study, but you did defend me last week. I study the narcissist. Said Fazio was right about the giant ego. He did defend Fazio one time in the last 30 days. So I study the narcissist has moved up in rank. I study the narcissist is now a good troll because he said something nice about Michael Thomas Fazio. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I studied the narcissist. I do remember you said something nice last week on Kevin's channel. I remember you defended me. It could have been in regards to who deserves to get the first portion of money. It could be that. Now, it could have been that because you know what? Let me tell you, I studied the narcissist, and then we're going to talk about Aloe, the great Aloe de Winter. And Jack Thompson is in the house, baby. I studied the narcissist. I am now, according to Louis Pagan Punts, I'm an influencer. Because on a show called Popeye 1, they used 6, 7, or 8 of my talking points where I said that I think it's perfectly okay to give Obama money, but the first portion of the monies given to Obama should be given to Shah because she has about $2,500 out of her pocket. So, and a lot of people defended me on that statement, saying that's the right thing to do. And also, I said that you should give all the money you want to Obama, but as long as Shah is made whole first. So a lot of people agreed with that. And I think you were one of them. You don't have to confirm it or not, but thank you. I do remember you said something nice about me, and I appreciate that. Now let's talk about that freaking troll. Aloe de Winter, he's the biggest troll ever. Aloe de Winter, no one will ever be his better. I had people laughing this morning about Aloe putting the judge in mourning. Even the judge was dumbfounded by Aloe de Winter and his id. The judge, you killed the judge, is what I'm trying to say. You definitely killed. He went home. The judge went home that night and told his wife. For the first time, he talked about what happened in court in months, because you're not allowed to talk about your job when you're a judge. He went home. He shared that one with his wife and family. The judge's face. You rock that judge's world, man. Aloe de Winter. He's the best. No one, I've been watching YouTube for 15 years. No one ever trolled anybody better than Aloe de Winter trolled the judge. Nobody ever did. No one, that is in all of YouTube history, all the troll channels, all the things they do, Aloe de Winter, that's my, in 15 years, that's the highest rating of a troll that you could ever see. Plus, the judge, he was stumped. It should have been called Stump the Judge. Aloe, the judge was going. He looked, maybe to the bailiff he looked. I don't know where he was looking. He looked like he was looking into an empty courtroom going, when you need to get your bearings on this, when you need to get your bearings, and you don't know, you got to look away from it so you can focus. That's what Aloe did to the judge. He rocked the judge's existence. The judge went home and said, honey, to his wife, you're never going to guess what happened today in court. That went down in history. That went down in Hawaiian, maybe history of judges. That is going to go throughout the time in memorial, like Memorial Day. Scott damn there, we watched it together when I showed it to him. Scott lost it. Lewis lost it. Jim Alva lost it. Everybody I showed that video to just come. Soon as they watch it, I send them the link. They just bust out laughing. I'll get it. I'll get the link, and that's got to be the greatest. Okay. So the Troll King, DNC. There are a few more. So that's who was asking me yesterday. Lewis. I think Lewis was saying, is there more? And I'm going, I think there is, because I tried to sign in. And it said please wait. But it never let me in. And it said, so I had to wait. I waited about 25 minutes. Yeah, there's a few more clips coming. I waited about 25 minutes, but it would never let me into the, I forgot what they called it, the arena, the court. I had to wait in the, I think it was the staging area. Please wait in the staging area. You will be allowed in. Whatever it was, they wouldn't let me in. But I'm going to get that video. I'm going to play it right now. It's got to be the funniest thing I ever saw. It's just the funniest troll I ever saw. So Allo just said there's more parts. I thought it was just the one part. And we'll get the whole 3-minute clip that I have. That's how I'll make my entrance, as a ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 the FAZIO is here. Ding, 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 give me the all clear. Allo, allo, allo. Let's get this right up here on the stage with the singing. Allo and the judge in Hawaii. So let's go right here. Let's get that there. The longer version, and we'll go, let's get this whole thing up on the screen. So I'm going to preface this for you. For those of you who are here, or for those of you who are here that don't know, so there was a court hearing between Mr. Frank Battaglia, the complainants, Bill. That's right, Bill. I was talking to Bill yesterday. There was a court appearance between Mr. Frank Battaglia and the complainants. Okay, so Allo went into the court hearing on Zoom as Mr. Frank Battaglia. And then for that's just to preface what's going on. And now I'm going to show it to you. I'm not going to say anything else. But this has got to be one of the funniest. I'm gonna put this in the box. It's certainly one of the funniest things I ever saw in my life. I still laugh when I watch it, and I don't know that I'll laugh today. Mark Brunswick, whoa, he's a man who plays pool. I love the Brunswick pool tables. They're the best, Mark. Wait till Allo pleads guilty. That's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one that rocks the judge's world. Okay, so how do we get this on? Okay, just give me a minute.
Probably produce a. Yeah, need to talk to Miss Haig about that. And
okay, I don't know what this part is about, borrowing money, but here we go.
Well, you need to talk to Miss Haig about that, and probably produce a cashier's check for that amount, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Your Honor, is it possible to get a video from Mr. Battaglia? I'm just concerned he doesn't sound the same as I've heard him speak last
Mr.
time.
Battaglia, do you have video?
Yes. I was drinking. Oh my.
Look at the judge. Look at the judge. Back this up. Look at the judge. Watch his face.
Drinking. Oh my.
Wait.
The same as I've heard him speak last
Mr.
time.
Battaglia, do you have video?
Yes. I was drinking all night.
Look at the judge's face. If you blow it up under high definition, the judge's eyes flinch. When Allo says he was drinking all night, the judge's eyes flinch. He blinks, a double blink. He stunned the judge like a flash grenade. And then the judge looks over to the left into dead air space. Watch this. Watch this. Watch the judge's eyes. Watch the expression on his face. And watch him turn to nobody. He's looking into dead air space right now. Watch this.
Okay, so Mr. Pataglia, can you turn your video on?
Yes. How do I do that?
Right. We got to go back
All
here.
right, so it's
Your Honor, is it possible to get a video from Mr. Battaglia? I'm just concerned he doesn't sound the same as I've heard him speak last
Mr.
time.
Pataglia, do you have video?
Yes. I was drinking a whole night.
He's looking at dead.
Okay, so Mr. Pataglia, can you turn your video on?
Yes. How do I do that?
All right, so it's showing that your video is on. I think you need to take your finger off the camera.
No, I can't do that. Give this video a shout out, please.
All right, so it's showing that your video is on. I think you need to take your finger off the camera.
No, I can't do that. Give this video a shout out, please. A thumbs up, okay?
Okay, so Mr. Pataglia, can you turn your video on?
Yes. How do I do that?
All right, so it's showing that your video is on. I think you need to take your finger off the camera.
No, I can't do that. Give this video a shout out, please. A thumbs up, okay? Attorney? Thumbs up? Your cam is still on. You want to give it a thumbs up? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. See you on the next one.
Now you tell me, you guys tell me, that is the best troll. But when you guys can't really see the high definition, when you have a clear screen with high def, the judge's eyes, they go like this, really quick. It's like a quick blink, like he froze the judge in time. The judge needed to look over to his, when the judge, he looked over, he needed to look over his shoulder to stop focusing on his computer screen because he was jammed up. Now that you got to remember, the judge has heard everything that there is to hear in all of history, except he's never experienced the Aloe de Winter. The judge had to go home and laugh at that. I don't care. That had to be. I don't care what anybody says. That judge went home and told his wife. Every judge everywhere in America has seen that clip. It's been sent to everybody in that office. All the lawyers have been sent that clip. I would think everybody involved with that case has seen that clip. And then they've sent it to everybody that they sent it to, that they sent it to everybody that they sent it to. But the judge, that would be the one time he could go home and talk about what happened in the courtroom that day. And he goes, you're never going to guess what happened to me in the courtroom today, because that's just some bizarre stuff. That is bizarre stuff. Let's go back to my comments page. I don't know. I'm going to post this. Okay, we're not there. We're over here. So now we have to go over here. And I'll read through the comments now. So DNC says the Troll King. Aloe says there's a few more comments like this. Jack Thompson is in the house. Thank you for stopping by, Jack. I did try to call you this morning, Jack, but I don't want to disturb you when you're sleeping. So I'll get with you after the show if that's okay, Jack. LMA Aloe is laughing really hard. Aloe put the judge in a state of mourning for his soul. His soul had to be refreshed. He jammed up that judge on a spiritual, on a logistical, on a physical, on a legal level. That judge has never been jammed up like that before. putting the judge in mourning. The judge's face. Allo has always been the best troll, but this Mama versus Swamp Zombie situation has allowed him to up his game. That's true, okay? That's actually true. This has brought a whole new level of trolling to YouTube. Trolling for money. It's brought out a couple of guys that are trolling for queers. It's brought out a couple of guys that are begging for money. It's brought out what's right and wrong, who should get the first portion of the money. There's all kinds of trolls that are coming out of the woodwork. Yeah, I study the narcissist. You're right about that. The judge was stumped by the brilliant DeWinter performance, says Louis Pagan Ponce. That's who I showed the video to yesterday, Louis. And he damn near fell off his chair. And he didn't, he was like, you know how you say, someone says, oh, I don't care about that, but thanks, Howell. Here come the judge. Louis was completely rocked when he saw that video. And I was watching his face while he was watching the video. The same expression everybody else has. They fall down and they just can't believe what happened. So DNC says, LOL, get ready, DNC. The show is about to start. Gravy dripping from the pot. No. I study the narcissist. That's water. Because I used the pot yesterday to thaw out meat. The first time in 6 weeks since Daisy went home on the 10th, 12th of May, 16 days. The first time in 2 weeks I had meat. I thawed meat out. And then I cleaned out the water from the pot. I studied it. You have good eyes. I studied the narcissist. Yeah, no, that was just clean water. Get ready. Gravy dripping from the pot. I don't use that pot for cooking much. I had money in the bank. I had videos, but deleted them. Been on YouTube since 06. All right, you might not be a troll, but I have seen you on other Philippines channels. I don't remember every comment from everybody. I could have you wrong, but normally I don't mind answering personal questions. Could I go back to America? Yes. Do I want to? No. It's 20 hours of flight time. It's just a pain in the neck to go back. Now for 2 weeks you're under jet lag. For 2 weeks you feel like garbage, and then you're there for 2 weeks, and then you come back and you got 2 more weeks of jet lag. No, I don't want to do that. I second the nomination. Allo DeWinter for an Oscar with that performance. I want to see the whole thing, and there was another guy on that live stream called Shroons, S-C-H-R-O-O-N-S, Shroons Battaglia. There was Allo, and then it wouldn't let me, it let me in for about a short period of time, and as soon as, for whatever reason, they booted me out as quick as they let me in. I nominate Allo for an Oscar, says Louis. Louis was rocked. DNC says, I second the nomination. Thank you, Allo. He got me up to 16 thumbs up. I saw that. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I never say bad things about you, LOL. Okay, I could be wrong. I could be. There's so many people that I apologize. I studied it. Not that it matters, because I did remember you saying something nice on Kevin's show, I think it was, that I was right about something, and I am right. And that's why I started to say that I am, there, you want to see the view I have from my window? Look at this. Look what a great view I have from this window. Look at this. People having fun, getting ready to go diving. This is what I look at all day long. Hundreds of people park right there. load their gear, unload their gear. They get their gear ready. They drop their gear off. They walk it down to the beach. Then they go to the beach. They get their spear guns ready. They get their foods ready. I watch this all day long. So, and there's the ocean right there. So when people say, I live in a shack. Well, yeah, I live in a shack, but I got a view. I still got $1 million view. All right, so let's go back to the screen. Aloe, 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 the winter. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, Aloe, I got something that I'm going to have to tell you later. I'll drop you a note. I know you, if you're still here, don't matter whether you acknowledge it or not a problem. But I got something that I want to pass on to you. Aloe says there's a few more segments. He'll release them next week. DNC says the Troll King, LALMA, laughing my butt off, putting the judge in mourning. We got that. The judge's face, yes. Okay, says Aloe, always the best troll, but this Bummer versus Swamp Zombie situation has allowed him to up his game. Okay, but where do you go from here? The only way Aloe could troll anybody better at this point is for him to put the mask on and show us the toys, the rubber toys that he sells online in action. And you could blank them out with the YouTube screening stuff. He could say, and this one's made out of glass, and you put it in warm water first. But this one is butyl rubber, and you could warm this up, and it's got batteries in it. That's the only way that I see him winning another troll contest. Here come the judge, says Scott Del Fuego. Here come the judge. That was a laugh-in moment from the 1960s. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. And I forgot that guy. He was a black entertainer, and he was a great entertainer. I forgot his name. Somebody want to throw that up? So wait a second. DNC says, I've already read about it in my Western CIV history book. I don't know what that means. I would imagine that thing's been all over the world. The lobby. If I ever get on Zoom, as of now, I have no notice to go on Zoom as of right now. For those of you who are interested, I have not been notified, so I don't think I'm going to get a chance to ding the bucket. I want to see Attorney Jordan. Now, Bill and I talked about this yesterday. I talked to a lot of people. Now that I'm on recuperation time, I'm using my time to talk to all my friends on YouTube. I called up Aggie and Dave. I called up Lewis yesterday. I called up Bill yesterday. I called up Jim Alva last night. I've been drinking all morning, says Scott Del Fuego. Bakakunka. Now, I study the narcissist, says there is now an overwhelming request for seats to attend the May 30th trial in Hawaii. I'm not sure if there's going to be a trial. I studied the narcissist. I don't know. I didn't get a notice about anything. So I'm not sure. Maybe somebody here could confirm. Is it a trial on the 30th? Or is it Well, what is the proper terminology for what's going to happen on the 30th? Because I don't have access. Well, I've not tried to access those files, and I know you can by going to Ekula Court in Hawaii, but I didn't look. EKUKLA. I could get that up there right now. Hold on, I'll get that up on the screen. I'll get if I put I looked it up yesterday, but I never got that. E-Court. This is where you could get the docket search. E-Court, Kokua Court Records. And there's a link for that. This should bring us to a white page with some kind of stamp on it, if I remember. Okay, the Hawaiian Judiciary. Okay, let's get this light out of the way. Okay, so this link that I'm going to post in the box, this link will bring you to the court records. And all right, let's see. You go down here. Okay, yeah, okay. You go down here to click here to enter the court, the e-court system. You click here. Now this will bring up another page. All right, let's close this down a little bit. Okay, this will bring up a page where at the bottom you have to accept it. I'm going to give you the link in a moment. I'll just give you the link right now. Okay, here, let me give you the link in case you want to do this. This is the link to the e-court. It's not complicated, but it's 5 steps to get to the court records. And then, all right, so let's go back to the e-court. Now, when you get to this page, after you do that, you search details for the person's name or business. It's the top one. And in here, you put the person's name, anybody's name that you want to check. And then it will bring you to the court records. And it'll show you the cases. So I don't want to put a name in there because I don't know if that's allowed. But that's how you get to the court system. So it's more or less 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's here. Then you click this stuff here. 1 step, Judiciary E-Court Kokua. Then you go down here, click here to enter the system. Step number 2. This is what Allo had to do. So this shows you how smart Allo is. Then you click accept. And then you go to search details by a person's name. And then over here, you put the name or business name that you want to search. But we won't do that. I don't want to put a person's name up there. So, this is Allo's video. Let's watch Allo's video one more time when he tells the judge the lawyer doesn't believe it's Allo. Let's just watch it one more time.
Well, you need to talk to Ms. Haig about that and probably produce a cashier's check for that amount, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Your Honor, is it possible to get a video from Mr. Battaglia? I'm just concerned he doesn't sound the same as I've heard him speak last
Mr.
time.
Battaglia, do you have video?
Yes. I was drinking a whole night.
What?
Okay, so Mr. Battaglia, can you turn your video on?
Yes. How do I do that?
All right, so it's showing that your video is on. I think you need to take your finger off the camera.
No, I can't do that. Give this video a shout out, please. I mean, a thumbs up, okay? Attorney, thumbs up. Your cam is still on. You want to give it a thumbs up?
And she does.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
She gives him a thumbs up.
See you on the next one.
Yeah, she's what a cool. Okay, so let's go back to the great Alo de Winter is here in the Philippines live, baby. Let's go down here. What is Alo going to plead? I don't think. No. That judge, I got a feeling the judge will remember his voice. I don't think he's going to get to do it again. But I don't know. It's probably going to go out. The invitations to the next court hearing are going to go out with a cryptic, a 16-bit an encryption. Alo says he doesn't think he'll be able to get back on. I like she thumbs up after Alo asked. She did. The complainant's lawyer gave Alo a thumbs up. Yes, Michael, say on Zoom, bang a pot. Maybe if I could get on, I'll get on there as Bang a Pot. That would be my name. Then Lewis wants to see Attorney Barry Jordan will take care of everything. Frank is safe. Yeah, if Barry was the opposing attorney, there'd be no problem at all. Your chuckle at the end was priceless, Alo. Yeah, Alo couldn't hold it together any longer. That was, yeah. You know what? I study the narcissist. You say it in jest, but I think that every judge everywhere in Hawaii, for sure, has heard this. Every lawyer, every prosecuting attorney, I believe every one of them. I think it's something that they're shooting around because it's not illegal, it's not bad, there's nothing, sinister about it. It's just good American fun, in my opinion. Lift your finger off the camera should be printed on a t-shirt. The judge says, if you just remove your thumb, probably you'll be okay. And now let's see what we got here. General DNC, LOL. General Talia. Mr. Alo should have sung the Mushroom Man's song. Wow. I don't think it's called the Mushroom Man song. I understand it's called the Muffin, Muffin Man song. That's my understanding, that the song is the Muffin Man song. I don't hear anybody except a few and far between saying Mushroom Man. Where have we heard that before? Let's get this live stream to 15 thumbs up, says Alo, and we went up to 19. Thank you, Alo. Boom. Well done. 15 thumbs up. Thank you, Alo. We might even hit 20 thumbs up. We're one away, and if I give it a thumbs up, and I will, now it's 20, baby, with mine. I gave myself a thumbs up. I don't normally do that, but I'm feeling generous. Here we go. Look, 21. I'll drop it down to 20, and then we'll go back up to 21. Thanks for remembering. I forget that stuff. And then, yep, 2 more to go. Thank you. Mark Brunswick, you have a great view. Oh, Mark. Oh, God. Mark. Look at what I'm looking at. It's right now, Mark. I'll show it to you again. I love this view. People laugh at me that I live in a shack, but look at the view. Look at where I'm going to look right now. Watch this, Mark. This is 90 seconds away from where I'm standing right now. What those are rubber buoys, and each rubber buoy has a gasoline-powered air compressor. It's called a snorkel unit, and you can go out on a boat And out where the far boat is out there, that's the reef. And each snorkel buoy has 2 or 3 hookahs, or 4 sometimes. And it pumps air to a hose, and you don't have to breathe, you don't have to have a tank. And you just breathe in a regulator and you have a mask on. And you could stay down there for an hour with no tank. And that's the view. And then all my my neighbors, of course, I watch the goats go by. There's a guy that walks about a 500-pound pig once in a while. There's a man that walks a cow. And then on Sundays, sometimes, Mark, there are horses, many, many horses. Like about a half a mile from here, there's probably, at one time I remember seeing about 18 horses, 20 horses. I don't know if there's more or less now. Okay, he's here. So yeah, I got something I want to message you with later, Aloe. It's something funny. It's nothing legal or anything like that. It's more funny than anything else. All right, so the best way for Aloe to troll that judge is next time, says DNC. Now, you know this is going to be good. If DNC says it, it's intelligent. Best way for Aloe to troll the judge is next time the judge tells Aloe to turn his camera on, Aloe needs to make sure the camera is pointed right at his donut. Oh my God. Isn't that what I said? And he could be showing those rubberized toys in action. Yeah. He could put one of those rubberized toys on a suction cup on the bathroom wall and work it good. That's a good one, Biggie. And then fart. Then Dave's voice kicks in and says, no, I'm not done yet. Or Aloe can just display a recording of a muted Battaglia and do an awesome voiceover. Yeah, that would work. Aloe has, you guys, look at this. Look at me. Okay, so I talked to DNC about this 3 days ago. You can talk to Aloe for 40 minutes, and you can have a portion of that conversation be nothing but laughter, with stupid stuff going this way and stupid stuff coming back this way, and just one stupid thing after another. And the laughter is real. The tears are real. The comedy is real, but it's not. Unfortunately, it's never been recorded, and not only that, you could never play it back on YouTube. You'd get struck out. But some of the stuff that Aloe and DNC, or Aloe and I, it's that much fun talking to him. The kind of humor that he has is, it's a sarcasm, but it's intelligent, and it's the kind of sarcasm that a group of guys that grew up with since birth or since first grade, and you've been friends with people, and you don't have to finish the sentence, and they know what you're thinking. Like, let's just say that when I was in high school, I went out with a midget, right? Now, and her name was Shelley. Okay, so, and then now somebody that I grew up with say, hey, Mike, you remember Shell? Remember that day underneath the boardwalk? And you don't have to finish the sentence. And everybody would go, yeah, I remember that. And it's just that kind of weird sense of humor. You know, it's just, you have to be there. You have to have a group of friends that you could have idle chatter with, that they know how to finish your sentence. That's a rare thing. And DNC says he has the same kind of rapport with Aloe. So then DNC, Aloe are on the same level of sarcastic comedy routines. Done by, Sammy Davis Jr., right. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. Here come the judge. The famous Sammy Davis Jr., that's right. Thank you, John S., originally. done by Sammy Davis Jr. That's right. I forgot it. You know, it's been, we're going back 60 years. 60 years. John S., thank you. Bill says, who's logging in as one of the 15 witnesses? Well, I have no notice. So some people are concerned that I'm going to be there, but I have, as of today, and I could look now, as of now, I'm going to look. Now I got a message from my screen sifting machine, but I did not get a message from, I want to buy a machine that sifts sand. You want to see a cool machine? I'll show you when I'm done with this. If I could mimic a kid's voice, I tell the no, DNC, don't say that, because that never happened, by the way. But I don't believe that happened. But that's the kind of sick people we have on YouTube making up stories. I was too scared to say that, says Bill. You can hear Frank plead now. There's a Swiss-German arsehole impersonating me, Your Honor. Oh, yeah, you know. Well, first of all, he has the right to say that it's not him because it wasn't him. There's no doubt about that. Mark Brunswick says, the first state asked for 50,000 U.S. LOL. Most people don't have that much. Well, that's true. But some do. And some have that much money to give a woman that they don't even know or care about. I grew up in New York, so I've seen people make that much money in a day, and they don't even know where it came from. I study the narcissist. Is that Beavis on the beach, looking at your window through binoculars? No, I don't know. It could. That's the kind of guy he is, but it's not illegal to do that. And I don't walk around naked anymore. So I always have a pair of shoes on and a pair of pants in case I have to go outside. But yeah, he does stuff like that. But no, I think he's back in Cebu. But he is a sneaky little fella, isn't he? I study the narcissist. He is a sneaky one. No, he's at the window with his hand on it. Yeah, that's he's a sneaky little man. So we're gonna get sneaky. So I don't know, man. I heard he was back in Cebu. He's definitely trolling Frank. There's no doubt about that. Oh, God. To what end, I don't know. Because all he's going to do is piss Frank off. And then Frank is going to go to the immigration with his picture, and they're going to do facial recognition, and they're going to send it to Interpol. And if Interpol can't help, they're going to send it to the NSA. And the NSA has a picture of Beavis in its files, so it'll cost a few dollars, take a few days, but Frank will get her done. There's no doubt about that. So, yeah, that's what's happening here. That's my view. We got another truck right now, another truck going down to pick people up. It passed, and then there'll be a truck there all day long, back and forth. Divers, snorkelers, swimmers. It's really nice to live here. And no horns. Did you hear a horn beep? No. We do have dogs. We have dogs, unfortunately. And 2 days ago, whatever the moon was, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and 4 days ago, at 3 o'clock in the morning, all the dogs, all on the beach, towards the Bellevue, towards some private houses down the road, up the road, to the right of me and to the left of me, every dog in all of this area howled at 3 o'clock in the morning for 3 days in a row at something, but at nothing. So it must have been, when they say barking at the moon, how 3 3 o'clock in the morning, sharp, every dog in the neighborhood started howling. It went on for a half hour, 45 minutes. Then at 5:30, the German Shepherd walks down the block. A man walks a German Shepherd down the block. The little dog next door that barks at everything all night never stops barking all night. He barks at every stranger. After like 11 o'clock at night, he barks at every stranger. That's his job, I guess, but he's a little annoying. But at 5:30 in the morning, the German Shepherd guy walks down the block. This is a ritual. I get up at 4:30. But the German Shepherd could care less about the little dog. But the little dog will run up. It's not little. It's like 25 pounds. But the German Shepherd is a 70-pound dog. The little dog will run up and bite the German Shepherd. Then the German Shepherd turns around and grabs the little dog by the leg or by the neck and throws it around like a rag doll. Then the little dog cries and screams. And then the German Shepherd lets the dog go every day. This is a ritual. And then the little dog barks at the German Shepherd from the time it gets to the beach till 6 o'clock, 45 minutes, and then the dog walks back. And I could tell by the bark that it's 5:30, the German Shepherd is on the beach coming down the road. At 6 o'clock, the dog stops barking, the German Shepherd is gone. But the German Shepherd rips that little dog apart every day. And then the little dog sometimes limps around for 2 or 3 days and then goes after the dog again. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. Let's go back to the videotape. So I don't know if there's any comments. I sent somebody a message about 2 hours ago, just before I started the live stream. And I said to them, "What do you want?" And it's a person I haven't talked to. I haven't talked to this person in, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. And they sent me back a message at exactly 2 o'clock yesterday. I thought about that person after 4 or 5 months. At exactly 2 o'clock. I looked at the clock. It was 2 o'clock. But I was busy. So today I said, at exactly 2 o'clock yesterday, I thought about you. At exactly 2 o'clock yesterday, they were writing me a letter that they didn't send. So it was a psychic phenomenon. And that's what happens in the spring with certain people. All right, Allo, bye-bye. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good weekend yourself. Thanks for the laughs. I'll send out, the message does not have to be replied to. It's just something funny that I heard. So I'm going to actually get ready to wrap it up. I had a late breakfast. Today was the first day I had a piece of meat for the first time in 16 days. All I ate for 16 days was eggs. 6 eggs for breakfast, 4 for lunch, 6 for dinner for 16 days. I could prove it to you. There's thousands and thousands of pieces of eggshell in my backyard. See you in court, says Bill. People in New York City make a lot. Brunswick, Mark, I have a cousin. It's me, my brother, and then the 2 girls. So she's third down in the age of our cousin. So she's about 64, 63. She was married to a gay guy. He was definitely gay. There's no doubt about it. But she liked that. She loved him, and they had children and everything together, but he was gay. I don't know why he married her, but he did. He was a doorman in New York City. A doorman. He opened the door in a rich hotel. That guy made $200,000 a year in tips and salary. That's nothing compared to a doorman at the Ritz-Carlton. That's $4,000 a week for a 60-hour week, opening and closing a door. And they also have umbrellas in the foyer, and if it's raining or snowing, the doorman will hold an umbrella over the customer, over the hotel guest or the apartment guest, and then when they get out of the cab, they'll go out to the cab with an umbrella. And those people think that that's something worthy of $10 to hold the umbrella over them for a minute. And the guy was making $200,000 a year. He made so much money that he had an addiction to a certain thing, white thing, and he could do all of that white thing that he ever wanted to do in his whole life. And every 2 or 3 months, he would have to go into the hospital for 2 days to calm himself down. And he never ran out of money. They bought a beautiful house, the kids had toys, he had a car, she had a car, and he made so much money as a doorman, $4,000 a week. So an elevator operator in that same building could make $6,000 a week. The construction elevator operator in buildings that I worked in could make $6,000 a week because they had a book. You have tools. You get there at 7 o'clock in the morning. You got to go up to the 40th floor. You have 4 boxes of tools. You're outside the elevator. You give the guy $10 because he lets you in the elevator. Now you tell the elevator operator, at 2:15, I will be on floor number 43 waiting for the elevator to go down. He writes it down in the book. You give him $20. And at 2:15, he opens the door and you get in. Otherwise, if you just push the button, you might wait 2 or 3 hours. And he has 100 contractors a day giving him $5, $10, $20 to pick them up at a specific time. An elevator operator making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a week. Forget about what some people. A hot dog stand guy, Carla Gambino, the real Gambino family, who lived in Howard Beach, was a girl about 5 years younger than me. Her father owned a hot dog stand. And when Home Depot broke ground on 114th Street and Rockaway Boulevard, when Home Depot broke ground, he put a hot dog truck in front of the construction site, in the site, like where the concrete foundations were being poured. And he brought a contract with him to the job, the construction foreman, that had to be signed by the corporation, Home Depot. And they signed an agreement stating that he would show up every day at 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning and provide coffee, donuts, rolls, milk, sandwiches, breakfasts for the men. And he would stay there until 10 o'clock at night. And he would guarantee that he was there 7 days a week with that truck. And it was a 16-foot box truck. That guy was making, just from that truck, one truck. After Home Depot opened up, somebody else tried to come on the property, but he had a contract that he would be the only person allowed. So to this day, he's the only vendor allowed to sell food or drinks on that parking lot. And he was making, in 1977, 78, $79, $7,000 a day, every day. $7,000 a day from one hot dog truck that sold Heroes. They had vans going back and forth to the truck all day, supplying them with ice and soda, and nobody else could ever come on the property. And he was making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a week, every week, forever since then. I don't know if he's still alive. And Carla who was his daughter, was stealing $1,000 a day and bringing everybody in the neighborhood everywhere, bringing them to Manhattan for boat rides, going to the bowling alley. Everybody got bringing 30 people to the movies, buying this for everybody, buying that for everybody. You want beer? What do you want? And then she'd go buy you a 6-pack of beer. Everybody in the whole neighborhood got taken care of. She was stealing from her father. Didn't know, didn't care. Maybe he was giving it to her, but that was $1,000 a day she was spending on everybody in the neighborhood. So there are people in New York City that make so much money. You get a hot dog vendor on Fifth Avenue, well, on 42nd Street, across from Macy's, could make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a day selling hot dogs. More. It's crazy what they make. Jimmy Hoffa may have been served up in the Gambino hot dogs. I don't know. I could ask my father's friend Frankie, but he's long gone. If that's possible, and I don't think that is. They made him disappear. But yeah, this guy, he was, and then eventually he had several Home Depot contracts. So he was making so much money he didn't even know what to do with it. And he was, I did some work for him, but not much. But he was making so much money. Everybody knew how much money he was making, because his daughter would just say, my father makes this much money. It was not a secret. He was making so much money he didn't know what to do with it. He had houses in the Florida Keys, mansions on the water. He had houses everywhere. He just made, what do you do with $7,000 a day? Cash money. You can't even spend it. And that's what some people make, man. But my worthless, my cousin's worthless husband was making $4,000 a week opening a door and closing a door. I had a construction company. I'd be lucky if I made $1,000 a week to bust my butt in New York back in the 70s and the 80s. And then I had to pay my overhead and rents and apartment rentals and shop rentals. I had to bust my butt with a truck and insurance. And he was making 4 or 5 times what I was making at the end of the day. And he was as queer as a $3 bill. This guy was, he walked like a $3 bill. That's just the way he was. He was like that. And everybody knew it. It was no secret. And my cousin loved Phil like you wouldn't believe. Oh, she was so in love with him. Every time he went to the hospital, she went there and cared for him and hung out with him and talked to him. And you have to stop. He'd get jammed up where he'd lock himself in the bathroom. And the door opened inwards, so they'd have to scrape the metal thing that you open up a car door with. They'd have to scrape the lock open. He'd be in the bathroom for days. He wouldn't come out of the bathroom. Patty, too, another guy I knew named Patty. He would stay in the bathroom. You could give him food. Open the door, you give him food, and he'd take a shower. And that's insane that you won't come out of the bathroom. You're going to do that white thing. I had some strange stories when I was growing up. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody for stopping by. I'm done talking. I want to get with my buddy. I want to get that message out to Aloe. I want to talk to my buddy that I said I was thinking about yesterday. As I thought about them, they were writing me a letter. It was in their mail as a draft at 2 o'clock. I said to them today, I thought about you at exactly 2 o'clock yesterday. It was like, why am I thinking about this person? I haven't talked to them in such a long time. DNC. Later, Faz. Hey, DNC, thanks again for keeping me company. Mark Brunswick, Bill, Aloe. I studied The Narcissist. Okay, I remember him. Jim Alva was here. We had a good show today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Louis Pagan Ponce. Mark Brunswick again. Okay. That was a good comment, Mark Brunswick. Obama has upped Alo's game. So at this point, I want to say thank you from Michael Fazio and Daisy May, who we're still best friends, by the way. And I refuse to let people talk about Daisy May. Appreciate that no one mentioned Daisy May in a negative manner. Even the trolls that are watching, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Because it's not gonna change my opinion about Daisy May. She's a great girl. Okay then, thank you very much. I'm Bing Permy, which of course means take care always. From the Philippines, baby. Bye-bye for now. And thanks again for everything. For the laughs, for the humor, the laughs, the sickness that has surely taken Alo's mind where minds can't usually go. Come on the amazing journey and let the judge's mind blow up in the courtroom. Boom, biddy boom, biddy boom.